KMES English Medium Junior College. Welcome. It's 11th standard student for the online lecture of psychology. For the chapter Branches of Psychology, topic Applied Branches. Student, in the previous lecture of theoretical branch, we have studied about various branches of theoretical psychology. These various branches consist of developmental psychology, child psychology, social psychology, cognitive psychology, abnormal psychology, experimental psychology, etc. Developmental psychology discusses about various developmental stages of human life. Child psychology talks about change that take place during childhood and behavior pattern of children. Social psychology tries to study the effect of an individual on the group and group's effect on the individual behavior. Abnormal psychology discusses pattern, reason and remedies of abnormal behavior, whereas experimental psychology studies pattern of fundamental problems of human life. This was that we have studied in the previous lectures of theoretical branches. Today, we are going to start with the applied branch of psychology. Students, in today's lecture, we are going to study about the applied psychology. Applied psychology is one of the branches of psychology. Applied psychology deal with applying the information to make changes in the existing structure of conditions. There are different branches of applied psychology which we are going to study in detail in today's lecture. Applied psychology. Applied psychology deals with applying the information to make necessary changes in the existing structure of conditions. Applied psychology uses the knowledge and the principles generated through theoretical psychology. It uses this knowledge and principle to develop techniques. These techniques help to solve practical problems of individual life. Through various branches of applied psychology, psychologists are putting knowledge into practice so as to help individuals to adjust to their real life situation. So, the work of the applied psychology is to use the knowledge and principles that is gathered by theoretical psychology. Then, it develops techniques to solve problems of individuals. It also helps individuals to adjust in their real life situation. Applied psychology is further divided into many sub-branches. Applied psychology is further divided into many sub-branches. So, the sub-branches of applied psychology are as follows. 1. Educational psychology. 2nd. Clinical psychology. 3rd. Counseling psychology. 4th. Criminal psychology. 5th. Sports psychology. 6th. Industrial psychology. Let us study each of these psychology in detail. Educational psychology. The field of educational psychology examines and studies all factors related to education. They are concerned with increasing the efficiency of teaching and learning processes. The educational psychologist is concerned with developing effective method of teaching learning. They prepare intervention program for exceptional children. They develop personality development program. They prepare relevant curriculum, etc. It is also concerned, the educational psychology is also concerned with the general problem of teaching and learning process. It focuses on learning difficulties of slow learner, average children. They try to design intervention programs to develop motivation, effective study habits and better classroom environment. Educational psychologists are primarily associated with schools, colleges and universities. They conduct psychological tests to provide guidance to students. They deal with behavioral issues of children such as learning disorders, hyperactivity, lack of concentration, ADHD, etc. The scope of educational psychology is teacher, learner of pupil, learning experience, learning process, learning situation and learning environment. Coming to the second field of applied psychology, that is clinical psychology. Clinical psychology is concerned with the study, diagnosis and treatment of emotional and behavioral problems. This includes mental illness, marital conflict, family conflict, drug addiction, severe depression, alcoholism, etc. For all this purpose of diagnosis, clinical psychologists collect detailed information about the client by using psychological tests, interview of client and his significant other like family and friends. They use appropriate psychotherapy to help the client to deal with his problem. The clinical psychologists either work in hospital and community health center or have their private practice. This is the largest subfield of psychology. Coming to the third field of applied psychology, counseling. Counseling psychology. This field of psychology is similar to clinical psychology. But counseling psychologists deal with milder behavioral problems. They offer guidance about adjustment issues faced by a person. Counseling psychologists will be involved with vocational and career guidance. Some problems dealt by counseling psychologists are related to issues or difficulties experienced by a person in studies, personal life issues or workplace issues. So, counseling psychology is used for behavior problem of low intensity. It is helpful in choosing a vocational and career. It offers guidance or help person to adjust in their life. It helps the person to solve the problem related to issues about studies, about personal life or about workplace. Criminal psychology. Criminal psychology is also one of the branch of applied psychology. This branch is closely related with social psychology of theoretical field. Criminal psychologists are concerned with identifying the cause of crime, studying personalities of crime, suggesting preventive measures to control criminal behavior, and implementing plans for criminal rehabilitation. Criminal psychologists deal with the motives behind the criminal behavior. They play significant role in forensic department to uncover the scene of crime by understanding and interpreting the behavioral clue of the criminal. They generally work with the law enforcement department or the criminal investigation department or social organization working for rehabilitation of criminals. So, it is an important field which identifies the cause of the crime. It finds out the behavior or the motive behind the criminal behavior. They interpret the behavioral clue of the criminal. So, it is one of the important fields of psychology. Sport psychology. Sport psychologists help sport persons to maintain their motivation during actual performance and also maintaining themselves when they are not in the field. They help players to maintain composure when they are working under pressure. They help them to maintain their emotional balance when they are going through a bad patch and guide them to maintain themselves when they are recovering from personal injuries. Thus, sports psychologists' goals are sports skills, improving teamwork and team cohesion, improving self-esteem and self-confidence, improving well-being, helping managing emotions, increasing motivation, improving preparation for a competitive event, develop self-awareness, help in managing stress and anxiety. They teach relaxation skills, They improve focus and concentration skills. So these are different goals of sports psychologists. Industrial psychology. Industrial psychology is concerned with behavior of people working in organizations. They play important role in selection and placement of employee motivation, job satisfaction, appraisal and grievance. They help to enhance motivation, group morale, leadership skills among the employees. Consumer psychology is one of the branch of industrial psychology that deal with consumer behavior, quality of product, brand locality, and influence of advertisement on purchasing. So, industrial psychology, also known as organizational psychology, consumer psychology is one of the branch of industrial psychology. Industrial psychology main work is to select employees, motivate them, increase job satisfaction, performance appraisal and grievance. They help them to develop motivation, leadership skills. Coming to the consumer branch of psychology, their main work is to deal with the consumer behavior, the type of product, the brand loyalty, the advertisement, and the purchasing and selling of the product.